Welcome to a world where the line between life and death was thinner than paper. In the Victorian era, photography was a luxury affordable to few, and often the only portrait of a person was taken after their heart had stopped beating. This practice was called memento mori. Remember, you must die. Today, these images strike us as frightening, but for the people of that time, they were the only way to preserve the likeness of loved ones forever. Let's look through the lens of the past to understand the true meaning of these eerie yet touching portraits. In the mid-19th century, death was a constant companion to every family. High infant mortality and epidemics made the loss of loved ones a common occurrence. Mourning was not just an emotion, but a strict social ritual. People wore black for years, and jewelry made from the hair of the deceased was considered precious heirlooms. In this culture of grief, post-mortem photography became a logical extension of tradition. It allowed parents to lull a child to sleep in a picture, or to capture the entire family together one last time, creating the illusion of eternal presence. The process of photography in those days was a true ordeal. Exposure times could last several minutes, during which a living person had to remain absolutely still. Ironically, that is precisely why the deceased often appeared much sharper in photographs than their living relatives. Death provided the stillness that the technology of the time so desperately lacked. Photographers used special clamps and stands to hold bodies upright, creating a terrifyingly lifelike imitation of life for that final frame. To give the deceased a more lifelike appearance, photographers resorted to incredible tricks. Sometimes they would prop open eyelids, or more often, paint pupils directly onto the finished negative. Cheeks were lightly tinted with pink paint to hide the pallor of death. In some images, the deceased sit with open eyes, staring straight into the camera, creating that chilling, living corpse effect. For the family, this was not deception. It was an act of love, an attempt to remember the person healthy and awake. I so wanted to believe that my little angel had simply fallen asleep. When the photographer came to our house, there was a silence in the room like I had never heard before. He set up the camera, straightened the folds of my daughter's dress, and placed her favorite doll in her hands. In the picture, she looks as if she is about to wake up and smile at me. This portrait hangs in my bedroom, and every morning I say hello to her. For others, it's just paper. But for me, it's her breath frozen in time, her last gentle smile. Children were photographed most often of all. In an era when many did not live to see their 5th birthday, parents desperately clung to any chance to preserve their memory. Children were often shown in cradles, in their mother's arms, or surrounded by favorite toys. How can you tell the living from the dead in these photographs? The main sign is sharpness. Living people, over a long exposure, inevitably blinked or swayed slightly, which created a slight blurring of their outlines. The deceased remained perfectly crisp, down to every eyelash. Also pay attention to the position of hands and strange shadows behind the subject. These were often disguised stands. Sometimes, photographers even painted open eyes over closed eyelids, giving the gaze a terrifying, unnatural intensity and depth. The use of special stands was common. These iron contraptions, resembling torture devices, helped the body remain upright. They were carefully draped in heavy fabrics or hidden behind furniture, but sometimes in photographs, you can spot a telltale third leg of a stand behind the person posing. This technical solution allowed for compositions where the deceased stood next to the living, as if they were still part of everyday life, ready at any moment to resume an interrupted conversation. By the early 20th century, the practice of post-mortem photography began to fade. With the arrival of portable Kodak cameras, photography became accessible and mundane. Death gradually moved out of homes and into hospitals, becoming a topic not spoken about openly. Victorian sentimentality gave way to a modern fear of the physicality of death. Today, we look at these smiling corpses with a shudder, But behind every such photograph lies a story of immense love and an unwillingness to let go. The Victorians taught us that death is a part of life and that its memory should not be erased. These photographs are not just macabre artifacts, they are testimonies of human resilience in the face of the inevitable. They remind us that even when life fades, the image of a loved one remains with us, frozen forever in a silver imprint. Remember that you must die, but cherish every moment of life.